Hi everyone, a few people have messaged me, so instead of replying to everyone individually, I'm just going to break it down on my views on what Trump said about paracetamol causing an increase in the likelihood of autism during pregnancy. So let's cut through the nonsense, let's just be really straight talking and give you the facts and reality. So number one, the scientists that did the study that Trump and Kennedy are citing have come out and stated unequivocally that their study does not show that paracetamol means there's an increase in autism during pregnancy. So there is some numerical correlations. Now, I'm not a scientist or a doctor, but I'm just going to tell you some real facts as to why that may occur. Paracetamol is taken for two things: fever and pain. If you are neurodiverse, you are more likely to have neurodiverse children. Also, if you're neurodiverse, you are more likely to have autoimmune issues, which means you are more likely to have a fever, which means you are more likely to take paracetamol. So automatically there is a correlation between the two, what makes it more likely. We also know there are other conditions to do with the physicality of neurodiversity. Highly more likely to have hypermobility, which causes pain, so you're more likely to take paracetamol. You're also more likely to have things like fibromyalgia. 50% of fibromyalgia sufferers, that's the word, also have neurodiversity. You will more likely to take paracetamol for that. So automatically, straight away, we can see three factors as to why neurodiverse people are more likely to take paracetamol and therefore are more likely to have autistic people, babies, because we pass it on genetically. If we remove the paracetamol from those people, then we would still see the same amount of neurodiversity that we pass on genetically, because us wonderful neurodiverse people just do that. We give birth to neurodiverse kids. The other thing that's really important to say is there are studies out there that have proven beyond any doubt that if you take paracetamol, if the same mothers take paracetamol with two different children, one, they take a lot of paracetamol, one, they don't take any paracetamol, that there is no less or more likely outcome that that child will develop autism. So that rules out everything Trump is saying straight away. So that's another important thing to remember. Fact three is if you have a fever, that does increase, not dramatically, but it does increase brain developmental issues in gestation. So actually taking paracetamol will reduce the levels of neurodiversity in your child if you have a fever. So it reduces that likelihood. Even so, we still are more likely to pass on this brilliant gene that makes us interesting, that makes us these creative scientists, artists, sports people, all these other things to our children. So those are those really important factors to remember. But there is something at play here which is really important. Organisations that fund Trump, and Elon Musk has funded this and talking about it, is to do with eugenics, which is a worrying thing. One of the reasons why we've got rid of the name Asperger's is Thomas Asperger's himself supported eugenics and euthanized people with autism. So that's one of the reasons why we don't use his name anymore in our diagnosis. This is an idea that people are born superior to others. Now, like I said, it's really important that we don't get rid of ADHD and autism from our society. If any of you have listened to some music today, seen a piece of art, watched a piece of TV, presenting, acting, the writers that have made it, all of these things, probably 80 to 99%, if not 100%, are neurodiverse people. We are the creatives, we are the scientists, we are the sports people in massive majorities. Let's hope we don't get rid of this amazing condition. Let's fight back against the nonsense. If you're pregnant, you don't need to feel guilty that you took paracetamol, because there's absolutely no evidence that states it causes autism. It's just another piece of nonsense from the man that told you you could kill a virus by injecting yourself with bleach. So let's leave it where it is, in the bin of ludicrous nonsense that in about a century time, people will be studying, laughing, going to remember the time that American president said that you can get autism from taking paracetamol.